Please bow your heads with me. Lord God, I thank you for bringing all of these kids together today. Lord God, they have put in a huge amount of effort to get ready for the show today. Pray that you please just keep everybody safe as they travel and as they show here in the ring. And we pray this in your name. Amen. Amen. Now with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas pledge. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We'll start off this morning with ring deals. Class 401, Girox, be headed to the ring. Jeremiah Madrano, Kinley Shackelford, Morgan also, Cindy Smith. Girox class 401, be headed to the ring. Jeremiah Madrano, Kinley Shackelford, Morgan also, Cindy Smith. testing in the sheep barn. 1, 2, 3. Testing in the sheep barn. 1, 2, 3. Guild class 402, Hampshire, Ethan Madrano, be headed to the holding area. Yorkshire class 403, Ethan Madrano, you can go ahead and bring that guild up to the holding area also.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? I don't want to hear myself. Y'all hear me? Well, good morning. We're glad to be out here working with the young people and sorting through livestock. We'll be honest, multiple species today. We had things kicked off with a class of derived fields out here. And the two that are going to sort up the first and seconds, the young lady there furthest from me on the fence, the young man to the right. Now, I think comparative, those two comparative with the other four out here, the thing that kind of stood out to me right outside the gate is just an extra amount of width. I think two holes that are built wider at the foundation, two holes that are built with just a little bit more substance, boldness of body and muscularity up high from behind. But of those two, I think structural quality of the young ladies there to my right still allows her to win, and it went so pretty quickly. If you study those homes' driving profile, the angulation of her leg, the length to her hip, the set to her hind leg, and how she uses it, I think it's much better and a good advantage and a breeding deal, and those are good things for her to have, and that's what makes her a Maryland class winner. Now, if I was going to pick which way was the widest and the most opened up, it'd be the young man's here to the right. But that home's still tall and elevated, extended, and has a good look. And it is to compete with our class winner. We got to put it on the back of our glove. We got to make those better. Not to drop those and use your rear leg. The field here to our left, and way behind me, still being third. That's a big skill. Sandy Hook that's got some extinction and femininity there at the plate. She gets to be squared up in her knee, gives the both part of her chest, we get both reps of her body, and put a little power up behind. Same thing for the young lady who's always going to run this particular class. He's got some structural characteristics in terms of looseness structure. She's a little bit lower there, top of her shoulder. I don't think she has that much looseness on there. And she has a little bit more softness and a little bit of power. A good way to get things started if you could, but I think we're going to get it together.
Places, you're on class 401. Fourth place, Kinley Shackelford. Third place, Morgan Alston. Second place, Jeremiah Medrano. First place, Sydney Smith. Bring you Foundation as you stand over there. They've got coffee, hot chocolate, breakfast tacos, nachos, different types of candy. So go visit them. Please remember to get your pictures taken when you finish showing a species. Fill out your bio card. Raffle tickets must be turned in this afternoon by the end of the last species showing. In the ring now is Class 402, Hampshire, Ethan Medrano.
With a single entry Hampshire Guild here in Hampshire with a phenomenal job getting this one shown and presented. On the whole, I do think that stands some competition. For the Hampshire breed, I guess you could say, I think some appreciative of that whole forward. Just clean air and points. I think one that obviously she gets her head up and drives down from the side. Her elevation, extension of her blade, gives her a look of quality and attractiveness. She isn't perfect, in things that are typical with Hampshire. We need to relax her maybe just a bit. I'm also hoping of her skeleton in terms of annihilation of her blade. Her stride is long, and I think she gets a little bit tighter there out of her hip. And if we can just loosen up that much more, I think we can get close to perfect. But we'll see how she stacks up against the competition a little later on. Put your hands together for this year.
We're going to go by one.
Your Hampshire Breed Champion, Ethan Medrano. Yorkshire Class 403, Ethan Medrano. OPB Class 404, be headed to the holding area. Bobby Estes, Jeremiah Medrano, Collins Brandenburger, Morgan Alston, Sydney Smith.
We got a real powerful single entry Yorkshire deal. That one right out of the ring, just so you that one down low, the twitch and how he maintains that power, lives outside his skeleton. That one's got a lot to it. She's big chested, she's great in the shape of her body. She feeds the backside of a big blade, to a big top line. She leads with power. Structurally, she's another one of those that we could probably use. She can push her leg back just a bit. We can link around her rib. I think we can get more flex or hot. She can get out of there, go, and just grab and plant foot with that much more comfort. But that's being pretty cool. That's a nice Yorkshire female. Put your hands together for this young man.
Your Yorkshire first place breed champion, Jeremiah McCulloch. OPD class 404 to the ring, Bobby Estes, Jeremiah Madrano, Colin Brandenburger, Morgan also, Sidney Smith. Breeding Gills, cross class 405, be headed to the holding area. Bobby Estes, Kaylee Arnold, Kinley Shackelford, Morgan also.
This is a
just trying to believe what you could say with that yet. He's a spot that drives the ring, comes out empty time, and I think that they'll go pretty easy. I think you're going to see that not only gets the ball here up in the side, big as it means. You don't I just go there, sit there and play. I think it's good out there have the ability to move it from part of the show. And I think it's really good. I think when I was good, it's not now. What they're going to do, we're putting a little chance scouts together. We're very for only the whole career, pretty quickly. There's a little bit closer on top of that. The whole thing is the same. The reason that we're in the go back is, very complicated loose skeleton. Structure that whole thing is all more comfortable.
Step specifically there out of her hip and hind leg. She hinges looser out of her hip. She's got more set to her hind leg, so her step is looser and more comfortable. And I think she is probably wider there at the surface and bigger and softer in terms of her body. The hog in second, it's got a good look in terms of elevation and the hog in third. Young man here to the left has got the Chester appearing gilt that's got a lot of look and extension blade. She's got some elevation. She's another one of those that structurally, I just need to push her blade back. I need to make her more relaxed in the angle of it. I need to make her looser in how she uses her hip and hind leg if we're going to allow her to work up there in the top two. And then between the two hogs that remains, the young man here in fourth and the young lady behind me that's getting up in fifth. The young man's hog here in fourth is sounder. That hog takes a longer, more comfortable step. Just structurally, I think, is more functional. They work up in the top three. We got to make that one stouter. We got to make that one wider, more powerful. And then we ran out the particular class with the young lady over here to the right with the other spot, the spot gilt. That one's got width, rib, and muscle. That's not the issue. She just gets too straight in her blade. She's short out of her hip. If you watch her drive directly away from you, she wants to push too much weight there on the outside of her toes. So go ahead and put your hands together for these five. We'll allow them to exit the ring.
Placings, OPB class 404. Fifth place, Morgan Awesome. Fourth place, Bobby Estes. Third place, Jeremiah Madrano. Second place, Sidney Smith. First place, Collins Brandenberger. Now we'll have cross class 405 into the ring. It'll be Bobby Estes, Kaylee Arnold, Kenley Shackelford, Morgan Awesome. your platinum buyer and top 10 buyers from last year's show. Your platinum buyer, Jacoby Feed Seed. Top 10, Lone Star Land Partner, and the ranches at Buck Ridge, Brady National Bank, McCulloch County Board of Development, Commercial National Bank, Fred Nuncio Fencing, Brady Butane Company Incorporated, Powell Family, 4K Ranch and Farm Operations LP, Brady and Hamilton Law Firm LLP, Dodco LLC, Graves Group Insurance, Heimer Insurance Services, Matterhorn Express Pipeline. Cross Class 406, be headed to the holding area. Braylon Brandenberger, Cooper Owens, Collins Brandenberger, Marissa Feister, Morgan Alsop. Marisa Feaster.
Nope, come here. It's good for you.
Yeah,
You got it.
come here. There's 4 when you're done.
Yeah, don't even look at that judge. You just judge that one. It's really good practice. Yeah. But it'd be good.
Just tell him.
Yeah. Okay, you stay though. Don't go far. Is there another class? Yes. There's one more class. Perfect. You stay here and judge that too. Okay? You want to be good?
What'd you do?
The next class is a class of 4 years.
For our first class across, there's definitely not one out here that I think jumps out and just runs away with it. But the young ladies on there to the left is going to end up being their class winner because I can find the most good. I'm in that one. Now she's, like I said, none of them are perfect, and she's got things that need to be better. I'll start off especially by saying going away. We need to square up in her hock there to the surface, square up in her toes and how she plants into the ground. She's also one that's maybe just not the most elegant there ahead of her blade, but I think where she's the best, it kind of still can work up for me in this particular class is stoutness, width, rib, and muscle. And then although she's not square in her hock, I think it's still loose, and I think it's still comfortable. That's why she wins. Now, if you know that's too much for you, I understand, and I think we have one in second that can fix her. In that particular area, she is square from hock to ground, but the reason I still keep her second is I don't think she's altogether a structural upgrade. She's still shorter there out of her hip. She gets up on her back toes. She's tighter now. She uses her movement. But I think she's got more volume than the Hawks carry forward.
I think she's still bolder in her body and deeper back into her flank, and the angulation of her blade is better than two hogs there that are third and fourth. The hog that's going to be in third is the young lady's hog there. I'm now coming to the middle of the ring. That one's big and extended, just too closed up, too flat in her body. I think she's got just a bit more look, though, than the hog that's going to go ahead and come in fourth, which is the young man there in the black vest. That one's got some width there to its hip, some width from stifle to stifle. It's too flat, just hard in terms of her body. We need to make that one just a bit softer to work up. Go ahead and put your hands together for each one of these exhibitors.
Placings, cross class, 405. Fourth place, Bobby Estes. Third place, Morgan Alsop. Second place, Kinley Shackelford. First place, Kaylee Arnold. Next into the ring will be your cross class, 406. Braylon Brandenburger, Cooper Owens, Collins Brandenburger, Marista Feaster, Morgan Alsop.
we get into our second class across is in the quality bar is turned up quite a bit, especially here in the top three. But I can tell you, each one of these top three I think have very unique pieces. The one that's going to put together the total package for me is the young man here to the right with the traditionally belted gilt. That's one that hit me pretty hard there out of the gate, and is going to put together a combination of things that I'm a big fan of. I think if you study that hog in terms of width, in terms of stoutness and feature, body shape, back shape, width going away, all those things read right in terms of how I like my show pigs. And then you study that one from the side, how she's going to fit things together. I think it's very, very good in terms of proportionality and balance. The length of her body's right, the length of her hip, the set to her hind leg all reads very, very good. To me, that one's just combining a lot of things that are hard to not use out here in this this high quality trio of hogs. Now, the one in second, I think the biggest thing that's hurting her today is she's getting a little bit tender there on her front feet. Because if I study the rest of her skeleton, I could argue that she's the best in some ways. I think just height of shoulder, but then still angle of their blade. And her is very good. The length of her hip is probably the longest. The set to her hind leg is probably the length of her stifle and set to her hind leg is probably the best. She takes a long, loose stride, but the tenderness of her feet never lets her hit the gear that I need her to say that's going to be enough for me to allow her to win. And then I don't know if she's maybe just as bold and deep and soft back into her flank as what our class winner is to just complete that proportionality and balance things. Then I'm after to switch that top pair, but that's still a very, very good hog there in second. Maybe the stoutest, most powerful one's the predominantly a black hog that comes in third. Young man there in the blue shirt. That one's big skull. That one's big bladed, big topped, and powerful. Whenever she leaves you, she's got a big rear leg. She just maybe pushed just a bit further ahead of there in her blade. She's a little bit crested at the top of her neck. She's not as good in the way she attaches it into her blade as well. So from the side, I don't know if she just comes together with the same just smoothness and look of the hog there. A little closer between fourth and fifth as well. I think the gilt that's going to come in fourth. The young lady's belted gilt here up to my right. Just a little bit longer stepping, a little bit sounder than the hog in fifth. The calico hog that's going to round out the particular class just gets a little too straight off both ends. Too straight in her blade, too tight in how she uses her hip and hind leg. We're going to make her just a bit sounder. Put your hands together for those five.
Placings, cross class 406. Fifth place, Marissa Feaster. Fourth place, Morgan Alsop. Third place, Cooper Owens. Second place, Collins Brandenberger. First place, Braylon Brandenberger. Now we'll have the judging for the cross breed champion and reserve breed champion. Out of 406, we need Braylon Brandenberger. And cross class 405, Kaylee Arnold.
Hope it doesn't seem like a rush at all, but you bring this cross race. For me, it's pretty simple. It's pretty just straightforward, if you will. There's two hogs out here that have plenty of width, rib and muscle, but there's one that does have the right kind of feature, and then a big, big advantage in terms of structural quality, squareness, and that's the young man right here behind me. He'll have our change the cross race. We've been second behind that one consideration for reserve.
The second place.
Bring second behind the camera when we talk about the quality and depth of that classic. You bring her out here, there's no way she's going to get in the mix. We talk about a class she's getting better, more secure on her front feet, but she's still practicing well. She still has the upgrade in terms of structural quality. We'll keep those two together. Young lady out there in the yellow belts in the reserve. Congratulations.
Right, your crossbreed champion was Braylon Brandenburger. Your reserve crossbreed champion, Collins Brandenburger. Now we'll have the judging for your overall grand champion, breeding reveal. From the Duroc class, we need Sydney Smith. Ham class, Ethan Madrano. York class, Jeremiah Madrano. OPB, Kaylin Brandenburger. And your cross class, Braylon Brandenburger.
It's been fun getting to sort through your breeding guilds, and you get your breed champions back out here, and I think they come out here and fit together. It look good, look like they're high quality animals, but even of that, I think there's one that's still going to separate itself. I can tell you, as I guess a show pig enthusiast, if you will, I like extreme pieces. I understand. I know some people fall, some people fall maybe a little bit harder on either side of stuff. Maybe saying like they like hogs really stout, or they say their kind's really good built ones. When I come in, anytime I get the microphone or I pick up the microphone and I'm judging a show, really what I'm looking for is one that can combine a lot of things, or both sides of those things, if you will, to kind of complete the package is what I'm after. I like unique pieces off both sides, but when you present me an animal that can do both and do them very good, I'm going to be a big fan of those. And there's one out here that does it. Put your hands together for each one of them. I'll go select your champion.
When we come out here in consideration for reserve, and maybe it gets a bit closer, but I still think there's one that surfaces. Just run back through them real quick in no particular order. We talked about the single entry Hampshire and the single entry Yorkshire, and compare them out here in the hogs that are presenting themselves for reserve. Those are two hogs that I think have enough width of rib and muscle, but like we talked there in those individual drives, those are two animals that I think could structurally be tweaked just a bit. If you watch those hogs drive there from the side, we need to push them back in their blades. We need to lengthen them out of their hip. We need to make them better in the set there to their hind leg, so they can plant and push with the same level of comfort as some of the other hogs out here that are going to end up being, or in one specifically that's going to end up being our reserve overall hog. The one that's going to come, or is going to be next, and I'm going to talk about, is the young lady's Duroc gilt. That's where we got kicked off today, and that one's had a structural advantage in that particular class that allowed her to elevate herself and be our champion Duroc. That's one that is loose built, long stepping, and comfortable. She's deep and soft and maternal in the shape of her body. I think she's got plenty of width, a stoutness in her own right, maybe where she
she gets or falls behind out here, the ones that remain. You watch her drive from the side. She's maybe just a bit crestier at the top of her neck. She's a little bit more jammed up there ahead of her blade. I don't know if she presents herself with the same attractiveness and ultimately quality there, driving profile, as the two hogs that remain left to talk about. The young lady's OPB and then the reserve across. Those are two hogs that I think have some similarities in terms of how you would discuss them. They're big scales, they're extended and elevated there from the side. I think two hogs that both could be just a bit deeper and softer back into their flank. To me, it's security at the surface that allows the one that's going to end up being reserved just to stay more comfortable as we ask the hogs to continue to drive. The young lady there with the OPB is going to be reserved. Congratulations.
Your overall grand champion, reserve grand champion, breeding guild is Collins Brandenburger. Your overall grand champion is Braylon Brandenburger. All right, now we're going to the Market Hogs, class 301 OPB, Braylon Brandenburger, Brooklyn Arnold, Marissa Feaster, class 301 to the ring. This year, buckle sponsors for your grand champions, your steer, Tomahawk Farms, heifer, Mackie and Cheryl Wren, Market Hog, Joe and Mackie Johnson, breeding guild, Bobby and Terry Pierce, Market Lamb, Central Texas Farm Credit, breeding ewe, Mountain Vale, Market Goat, Doug and Tammy Hemphill, breeding doe, Probst Farms, Angora Goat, Edmiston Ranch, breeding rabbit, Texas Prime Country Real Estate, Briar Rabbit, Central Texas Farm Credit. Your reserve champion buckle sponsors, your steer, Clay and Wendy Jones, heifer, Tomahawk Farms, Market Hog, Central Texas Farm Credit, breeding guild, DeBoer Real Estate, Market Lamb, Central Texas Farm Credit, breeding ewe, Central Texas Farm Credit, Market Goat, Central Texas Farm Credit, breeding doe, Probst Farms, Angora Goat, Brady Civic Club, breeding rabbit, Central Texas Farm Credit, Briar Rabbit, Central Texas Farm Credit. Your junior showmanship buckle sponsors, cattle, Fred Nuncio Fencing and Construction, sheep, Courtney and Tanya Williams, goats, Crossbar Land Company, Angora, Frank and Jane Hollybeck, swine, Central Texas Farm Credit, rabbit, Brady Standard Herald. Senior Showmanship Buckle sponsors, David and Avenel Seiler for your cattle, sheep, Central Texas Farm Credit, goats, Ronnie Aston Construction, Angora, Ronnie and Candy Moore, swine, Central Texas Farm Credit, rabbit, Central Texas Farm Credit. Remember, tomorrow at the Civic Center, the meal starts at 5 and your premium auction starts at 6 p.m. Once again, remember, when you finish showing a species, get your picture taken, fill out your bio cards and get them turned in. Raffle tickets must be turned in at the end of the last species show this afternoon. Also out here under the pavilion, there's ag mechanic projects. Be sure and go out and look at the great job those young people do on their projects out there.
We start off our Market Hog Show with a trio of spot bearers, and the one that's going to win makes my job easy. It allows me to have an opportunity to have one come out and win, and I think do very quickly. That hog comes out the gate, and that one's opened up down low. That one's big-chested. That one leaves you with power, but the biggest reason that one's going to win amongst these three is just presence there from the side. A hog that I think fits together very good. If you talk about height and shoulder, cleanliness and extension ahead of its blade. That hog, I think, is just the highest quality show bear out here. It checks off the boxes and the basics in terms of width, ribbon, muscle, but then does it with quality presence there from the side. Between second and third, I think there's two hogs that have some similarities just in terms of their basic build. I might call those two productive market hogs that are good ribbed and soft and deep back into their flank. They're dimensional in terms of their muscle. They'll probably be shaped up just a bit. The difference, again, is there from the side as I watch those hogs drive. The young lady's louder marked hog there, furthest away from me, I think is just a bit sounder. I think it's just a bit more comfortable from the side. That hog, you can get his head up, and present itself with just a bit more balance than the one in third. The hog that's in third, like I said, a productive type of market hog that's got plenty of rib. I think has plenty of dimension of muscle, a little straighter in blade, a lower fronted hog that just maybe isn't as attractive as the one in second, certainly not as the one attractive as the one in first. Put your hands together for those three exhibits.
Placings, market hogs, class 301 OPB. Third place, Brooklyn Arnold. Second place, Marisa Feaster. First place, Braylon Brandenburger. Cross class 302. To the ring, Braylon Brandenburger, Cooper Owens, Collins Brandenburger.
I'll take it.
There's no arguing that this is definitely the highest quality and the deepest class of first through fourth that we've had. To be honest, I haven't had to put that much thought up to this point, but you bring these four out here, it definitely takes some thinking. And I'll tell you, the biggest challenge for me is I know we're here at our county livestock show, but obviously these hogs are being smaller. This isn't their end. They got more to go. So me balancing in my mind, do I judge them as kind of prospect hogs and try to predict what some things will look like in the future, or do I just judge them as they are today? And that's ultimately what I ended up on. I said, I got to come to a decision. I'm going to judge these four hogs today as if they were big and they were there at their end show, and then let the rest sort out. And I'm wrong there in the end. I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't argue one bit if somebody else has a different opinion on them. I go back to just the basics, and I think the combination of the most good out here amongst these four is the young lady's black hog. That's why he ends up being the winner. As soon as he came out of the gate, he hit me as a power hog because he's big in his forearm, his blade. He's got plenty of rib shape and depth. He's got the right kind of fresh shape and dimension up high. He leaves you with power, and then from the side, he's probably the best ahead of his blade in terms of thinness and extension. I think a hog that's living height on the edge just a bit going away in terms of where he wants to set each foot in relation to his framework. He lives life on the edge, but I think he stays in. So as I take a step back and I run through how I break down each one of these hogs in my mind, he's the best combination of stoutness, power, structural quality, and attractiveness from the side. That's why he ends up being the class winner. The hog that's going to come in second, the blue one, I just got to ask, I'm sitting here and I was looking at him from a prospect standpoint. How big does he get? What's he growing like? That's the question in my mind. But where he is very, very unique is I could argue he's the best featured. We talk about stoutness of skull. He's the biggest there in his forearm and blade. His hind leg is the biggest, and I think it works best out of all these three. That one's grabbing dirt. That one's pushing forward the way I like hogs too, and that's because he's correct. And the length of his hip, how he hinges out of it, the length of his stifle, and the set to his hind leg is good, and specifically how he sets his back feet to the surface is better than the hog in first and the one in third. I think it's square. I think it's truer. He comes at you big. I just think from the side, everything the study's just a little bit earlier in terms of his maturity pattern. He's a smaller scaled hog. I have too many question marks there, and ultimately today it doesn't allow him to be as attractive is what I think the black-headed hog is. The one that's going to come in third, the young man's blueberry there, that one I think from a compositional standpoint breeds very, very good. The width of his chest I think is ideal. The shape of his body I think is ideal. When you get on top of him, he's wide there at the top of his blade. The shape of it starts right there, all the way back to the edges of his loin. He leaves you with the right amount of power, squareness, and everything inside of his framework. But as we ask these hogs to continue to drive, especially the top three, I think he's the straightest in his blade, knee. I think he's the shortest and tightest in how he uses his hip. For the mass that he has up high, I think we can make him bigger in his foot. I think we can make him stouter in his bone. This will make him proportion that much better top to bottom. I'm being critical of still a very, very good hog in third. And I'm going to say the exact same thing for the young man's bear in fourth. That's not a last place pig. That's a fourth place hog. And I want to make sure that young man understands that he's out here against tough competition. There's still a lot of things to like about that belted blue bear. He's stout. He's got the right amount of body shape, his width, up high and from behind as well. But I think he is the straightest in his blade. We can fix him in his neck attachment. And like I said, he runs into tough competition. Excuse me, in first, second, third. The young man does a very good job. Put your hands together for these four.
All right, placings, cross class, 302. Fourth place, Cooper Owens. Third place, Braylon Brandenburger. Second place, Collins Brandenburger. First place, Collins Brandenburger. Now we'll have the grand champion drive for Market Hogs. Immediately after that, we'll go to junior showmanship, and that junior showmanship will be 13 and under. At a cross class 302, we'll have Collins Brandenburger. In class 301 OPV, we'll have Braylon Brandenburger.
Simply put, our two breed champions out here for our Market Hog show, I think are both very, very high quality, and I think these hogs' quality goes beyond today. And wherever they end up and wherever they're showing, I think they have pieces and things about them that allow them to compete against the best of them across the state of Texas. I'm going to again get comparative when I bring these two up. I'm out here. I'm not going to sit and spend a whole lot of time of which one I think is a better representation of their breed or anything like that. I'm just going to compare the two, and I think there's one that has advantages of there from the side, even of two I think are very, very good looking. There's one that I think is just a bit better in the position of its elbow, if you will, coming at you. I think this hog's height of shoulder, but then angle of its blade just a bit better. They're both thin and extended and just real neat, freaky there ahead of their blade, but I think this one's blade construction, angulation, like I said, and then the squareness of its elbow joint just a bit better. And then I think of the two, neither one of them are ideal in how they set their back feet to the surface, but I do think there's one that's still better, one that's still a bit bigger and just looser in how it uses its hip and hind leg. That's going to be the young lady's crossbred. She'll be the champion. Congratulations.
Your judge today has been Clayton Shroud. Junior showman 13 and under be headed towards the holding area.
I can't emphasize enough the quality that we had sort up here to the top. And we bring these out here, have our spot remain, and then bring our reserve crossbred out here. And again, we have two hogs driving in front of us that if things go right, everything reacts to the feed bucket you want, grows right. I think two hogs that have things about them and pieces that they can compete against the best of them. And to be honest with you, I can go back and forth, and I think there's unique things about both of them, and I don't know if there's necessarily the right decision of these two because of the fact that they are completely different breeds. What you're going to compete against is completely different. But as I just compare them and set all that aside, and I ask myself, of these two, which one's stouter? I think there's an answer to that. I think they're both probably pretty similar. Their skeletal width, their rib and muscle. So then you're only left with one more thing. And you talk about the structural quality from the side. And I think there's one that's just a bit better and how it hits to the surface and just plants and pushes from a comfort level. There's big question marks that remain on how that one's going to grow. But today, compared to these two, the Young Ladies Crossbred is going to be my second favorite. That'll be reserved. Congratulations.
Your reserve grand champion, Market Hall, Collins Brandenburger. Your grand champion, Market Hall, Collins Brandenburger. Junior showmanship, be headed to the ring, 13 and under. Junior showmanship, 13 and under. Seniors be getting ready.